Hey, Verl Workman here, talking teams today, and we're talking about my favorite topic. What do you think it is? Yeah, teams. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons of starting, being on, and building a high-performing team. Now, we could talk for hours just about what it means to be a team, but I want you to think about, before I get into this topic, I'm going to ask you all a question. How many businesses can you think of that you know of that are wildly successful, like seven-figure success, that operate as individuals? Go ahead, put them in the chat. Let's have like an open conversation about that. Law firms? No, they have paralegals and assistants. Doctor's office? No, they have nurses, assistants, admin, billing. Attorneys? No. Grocery stores? No. Retail? No. Dentist office? No, they've got receptionists, hygienists. I'm trying to think of all these businesses, what it was that you know of that are wildly successful that are made up of people or companies of one. My point is simply this, is that teams matter, and that today the consumer, today the young people grow up in worlds where collaboration is all they understand. They think like groups, they do Facebook groups, Instagram groups, they're on YouTube and Reel, they're having fun in collaborative environments with Snapchat and other social media tools, and now they come to work and they're told by real estate brokers that, real estate brokers are companies of one. I'm going to suggest to you that teams are impacting real estate more than anybody ever expected. As a matter of fact, we recently commissioned a study titled The Unexpected Impact of Teams in Real Estate, and it was done by Workman Success Systems and a company called Sisu, hiring a company outside of real estate to come into the industry and really study the impact of teams. And I'd like to share with you some of the questions that were posed and some of the data that the market came back and shared with us about teams. So let's begin with this. 85% of real estate professionals credit being on a team as a competitive advantage. So those who are on teams believe they have an advantage over those who do not. 76%, almost 2/3 of real estate professionals say that being on a team earns them more money. Now, I'd like to pause on this just for a minute, and I want you to think about that concept. 2/3 of the team members that were studied, which is all across the industry, said that they made more money being on a team. Well, team members are on a lower split. So being on a lower split, they still made more money. Why do you think that is? It's because they're put in a culture where everybody performs at a higher level. And I love that 2/3 said they made more money. It kind of goes back to some of my clients like Brooke Signs, who in 2015 sold 30 houses and did about $5 million in volume and said, you know what? I'm busy. I don't want to be away from my children anymore. I need to start a team. In coming into a team, her goal was to increase her volume, but more importantly, increase her free time. She stopped working with buyers, hired buyer's agents, and got a full-time assistant and went from 30 houses to 55 houses with just one assistant and two buyer's agents. Her income went up, and the amount of time away from family went down. She then became a Workman coach, and in 2017 went to 100 houses and 20 million, 130 houses, 25 million, in 2019, 23 million, and began plans to open a second location in North Carolina. What's interesting is in 2021, she went to over 53 million. She earned over $1 million in commission and put herself only in production where she was developing other agents. The team concept learned in one market, duplicated in a second, was not only easier to duplicate, but it also created greater leverage. To me, if you were to define team equals leverage. It's the ability to serve more customers and make sure they have a better client experience and increase your income while decreasing the amount of time away from family. The next thing that happens, so a con of being on a team, and some people think about this, is, you have to share commissions. You depend on others to do the right thing. As a leader, you have to learn to manage and to delegate and to share responsibilities. The pros of being on a team are much more than that. You have a lot more resources available to you. You get to focus and specialize in the area of business that you love the most. I want to talk about specialization for just a moment. Being on a team creates a team of specialized people. When you go into a compete against another listing agent and you say that I work as a team and my team has marketing expertise, social media expertise, photography expertise, and we put your property in a position to win both the price war and the beauty contest, both online and offline, it all of a sudden separates you from everybody else. When you go in there and say, when you call me, you get me, and you only get me, it gives you the feeling of really not being very significant. I mean, you don't have people, you don't have someone that does that for you. How are you able to get it all done? It almost makes me feel sorry for the agent who doesn't have help. Team gives you the advantage. The next thing is because as a listing specialist, all I do is list houses. When you do it 70 or 80 times a year, is it possible that you get better at it? That you get better at looking at homes, prior to going in listing appointments, sending a pre-listing package out, positioning yourself to be able to win with a one-call close? Do you get better at pricing the home? Do you get better at holding your commission, whatever that fee is? Do you get better at marketing the home, staging the home, and getting it ready to sell? When you do it 70 or 80 times a year, your expertise increases and the client is better served because they get to deal with a specialist. In working with a buyer's agent, and I love buyer specialists because buyer specialists, they become better and more efficient at utilizing their time. They learn to meet with buyers in person to get buyer agreements signed so they don't spend time driving people around without any expectation of how they're going to get paid. They get better at knowing the marketplace and knowing the properties that are on the market. They've seen many of the houses that potential clients are wanting to go through. As a buyer's agent, they get better at writing offers and getting their offers in a position where their clients have a greater likelihood of being and getting their offer accepted. As a buyer specialist, the client, the consumer, is better served because of the expertise of someone who just does it more. And there's no better training at getting good at real estate than the actual game of real estate. Another role on the team is administrative assistant. And as an administrative assistant, you get really good at the putting of packaging together, at pulling comparables, at making sure there's communication that's effective before, during, and after a transaction. When all you do is process paperwork and understand the dynamics of closing real estate transactions, you just get better at it. The individual agent who does buyers, who does sellers, who does marketing, who does showings, who does sign boxes, who does data entry, who does closing coordination, does all the communication, they become good at average at all of it, but masters at none of it. By being a specialist at every area of the transaction, you get to do what you love the most. The client gets a better interaction, they get better served, and everybody wins in the transaction. I'd love to share with you a copy to give you more insights of the unexpected impact of teams in real estate and look at the generational dynamics and who is looking to be on teams and what people want from their team leaders today. This study has it all. Download it right here and follow the link below to get a copy of the unexpected impact of teams in real estate. Really understand how much more value there is in working as a team. Flat out, teams are more fun. We have more synergy. There's more interaction. And guess what? When you have to go take care of your kids or drive carpool or you want to go on vacation, somebody always has your back because they know you'll do the same for them. Teams matter and they aren't going anywhere. With all the changes in real estate, they're going to become more and more prevalent because we're going to have to do more transactions in order to earn the same amount of money we've had in the past. And the only way I know how to do that is to create leverage in my life, leverage in my business, and leverage with my team.